everyone, my name is Mike Andes. I'm the founder of Augusta Lawn Care. We have over 150 locations around the world. And today we're in Pittsburgh working with Jimmy Patterson from a hydro seeding business.
Not, easy running a business and a lot of money going out and not enough coming in.
Last year he was actually a full service landscape business, but he had a bad business breakup.
He just kind of said that everything was a little too stressful for him.
Let's get jobs on the schedule. Put the fire into your butt and be like, I must get this fixed.
And honestly, just mentally, it drained me. I took it out yesterday for the first time and had a terrible day, and it made me want to quit my entire business. So
let's see if we can turn this thing around and get a rebrand done. All right, so he showed up before Jimmy did. This must be the company from last year that he had before the big breakup. TrueScape, no longer here. But Jimmy's not here yet, so let's take a look around. I like the orange. Whoa, that's actually his hydro seeder. Check this out. It's like a jerry-rigged fire truck turned into a massive hydro seeder.
how's it going?
Good. Bro, this is the most fire, no pun intended, hydro seeding truck ever.
I know, I just got it 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah, I'm trying to put it all together, and it's been a,
Dude, it's so cool.
a mess,
Good
but
to
good
see
to meet
man.
you.
Absolutely, great little shop space you got back here.
Yeah,
though.
it's tucked away. It's
How
nice.
did you legally do that?
So I got this in Ohio, drove it 2 hours back,
Okay.
and then I drove to Maryland for that.
And then you just jerry-rigged, oh, I see what you did
Yeah,
in the back here.
I'm gonna do something more permanent there. I got some binders on it for now, but
Right.
I need to do some more permanent mounting. I have a fab shop that's gonna work on it, but.
So then last year, this was like the full service shop.
Yep. I'm still, behind the times on getting everything changed over branding wise, but
Right.
I have a lot to sell and a lot to kind of, transition.
So right now, are we still paying on the loan though?
Yes,
And
yep.
what's that monthly?
That's $1,300 a month.
Okay, that's not too bad.
No,
though.
no, it's not crazy.
But that doesn't include the equipment payments.
No, it does.
Oh, it does? Oh, that's
yeah,
not bad.
and I've sold everything else that I have debt on except for that dump truck, and I think I only owe like $7,000 on it, so it's
There you
not
go.
terrible. I'm not in a bad space
Yeah.
debt-wise. It's just I'm in a bad space making money-wise. I
Right,
need more
cash
jobs
flow.
coming in, and
Yeah, because there was like 5 employees, you said?
we had 6, at the height of last year. Yep.
And then that was the kind of like the other partner leaving, that was early last year. Like
That would have
spring.
been November of 22. Actually, we started it together in 2020. We both had separate, just little businesses before that. Everything was working great, and I had my daughter on the 11th of November of 2022, and 6 days later he said, hey, I don't want to be part of this anymore. So all at once, there's a lot of, stuff going on with, him leaving. And
Why did he not want to do it anymore? Because he was like operations and you were more like
so
admin
he
office.
was boots on the ground kind of guy, quality control kind of guy, and I was the office kind of guy. I love technology and systems and all that kind of stuff. So it really worked out well because where I lacked, he picked up, and he just kind of said that everything was a little too stressful for him, which I certainly understood it. It's not easy running a business. He offered to stay for like 6 months just to kind of ease the transition, and I could just tell his heart wasn't in it. He was ready to move on to the next thing. So I basically just told him like, hey, do what you got to do. I certainly understand, and we'll make it work. It was over the winter, so things were kind of slow, and I just had to worry about snow, and it worked out all right with the transition. A lot of legal stuff through last year, just tying up all the loose ends, and his name was on a lot of like different equipment loans and stuff like that I had to refinance. I don't think that he realizes how much what I did in the office affected the business, because he kind of had to take over, while I was off with the new baby. He kind of had to do it all. So I think that stressed him out a little bit. And then I think, there's just some stuff that we didn't agree on as far as what equipment to purchase, just stupid things like mowers and, what he wanted, what I wanted. Obviously, my feelings were made up based on financial, the analytics of the business, and he was the field guy, so it affected, what mowers he purchased, affected what, how the field crews felt. So there's definitely a middle ground there that, it was difficult to find. It was based on whether or not we were making money, or, or how people felt. And at the end of the day, I just think there's a couple things that led to him wanting to leave, and it was a shock to me, honestly. We brought my daughter home from the hospital, and I was adapting to being a new dad. I think it was just difficult, the whole situation. I like we already talked about, I'm not the type of guy that processes my emotions, and being in a partnership is almost like being married to a business. So that all the decisions kind of were made together, and I didn't really, it was nice that I had the full reign now and could do whatever I want, but also, I came to realize that it wasn't nice because I didn't have somebody to control the quality and be the people person and do the HR side of the business, I guess you could say.
So last year was really just kind of clearing that all up.
Yeah, and trying to, adapt to not having his role in the business and me trying to do both and trying to find someone that could fill that role, but also not having the money to pay that.
Right.
There's just a lot going on because before I got the loan went through for me to refinance everything, I was paying him a buyout payment that we agreed on. So his portion of what he owned of the business. So that just drained me cash flow wise. And then when I did get the loan, then that kind of helped out a little bit, but it was still rough. A lot of money going out and not enough coming in for sure.
So 2022, when he was still here under TrueScape, what was the revenue then?
We did just under, I would think it was like 460.
Okay, and then 2023, last year, without him being here, what was the revenue then?
I want to say it ended up, my taxes aren't even finalized yet. I filed an extension, so
I
want to say probably around the same, yeah.
Got it. And then this year was like, hey, let's switch just to the hydro seeding.
Yeah.
And then we're kind of projecting maybe 200, 300,000. Is that kind of your goal?
I'm hoping in that range, yeah. Okay. I did a lot of things to kind of drop my overhead down and just focus on making money for my family because it was, throughout all of this, it's been focused on building the business and dumping all my money back in and just paying myself enough to pay my bills. And my wife can only take so much of that. So, it's time to get serious and either make money or go get a job somewhere.
Right.
This is why it's so important when you're building a business to make sure there's systems, procedures, checklists, and redundancies so if someone does leave, whether it be a partner, a key employee, a mechanic, someone that's super integral to the business operating, if they leave, the business still needs to continue. So leaning too heavily on one person puts the entire organization and everyone's jobs at risk. And that's why it's so important to have the systems, procedures, and simplify services and your product systems to be able to operate without any one person.
Is this in operation yet or not?
I took it out yesterday for the first time and had a terrible day, and it made me want to quit my entire business. So,
really?
Yeah, I had the hose clogged up 3 different times. I had to take the hose all apart. The way it's mounted, it's not tall enough, so as soon as I put water in it, you can tell on the other side. I was contacting the tires with the hydro seeder, so I took chunks out of the tires.
It's pretty old too. Like
yeah,
it's 4,000 hours.
It's an 1980 something.
This is 1980?
Yeah. But yeah, you can see I was taking chunks out of the tires there because every time it would go over a bump, it would come down on the tires.
Brutal.
So yeah,
Are you just gonna cut this out?
Yeah, either that or I was gonna try to I'm just gonna take it to a fab shop and have them build a bigger spacer there.
Yeah, I bet once this probably comes down too.
Yep, it's about half full right now. I got halfway through the job yesterday and just got so frustrated I came back. I was excited whenever we all first talked about him coming out and excited to see what he had to say, and then yesterday happened. It was just, a terrible day with breakdowns and trying to get the truck ready. I, was anticipating even going out to, having a truck ready by lunchtime to go out to a job, and that just kept getting pushed back because I just kept finding more and more problems on it and trying to get everything secure just to, drive it down the road. And so then I pushed my job back to Tuesday. Well, I guess I was filling up the tank before I started spraying and the engine overheated. So I knew I only had a certain amount of time to run the engine. So I was spraying, everything was good. And I think because I was running it and shutting down, the hoses kept getting clogged up. So like 3 separate times I had to take the nozzle all apart and jam something down into the hose to clear the clog. And that got frustrating. And then as I'm doing that, I see the motor on the hydro seeder start leaking coolant everywhere. And, I got to a point where I was just so frustrated that I turned everything off, put everything down, got in the cab and just called my wife and said, hey, maybe I should just get a job.
So this is definitely not the bottleneck though in terms of once it's working, because this has a huge capacity.
Right.
You can do massive jobs.
Yeah.
So is the hope you have this, you have you and maybe one employee and you go to like 400,000 or 500,000 just doing hydro seeding? Got it, okay, cool. And so right now the bottleneck is just getting the leads, enough work in?
Getting the leads, and I am terrible with managing cash flow. That's a big bottleneck for me. Is just I need to have the cash to be able to manage the flow. But when it is there, it's always been tough for me just to have a system to manage cash flow. And last year was a struggle, just making payroll week to week, and we were struggling to make it by. So it's just that's just one of the things that I have issues with. Is just when the cash is here, I don't spend it on anything crazy. It's just, I guess, maybe making more cash so that there's enough to go around.
Yeah. Right now, in terms of, let's say 5 days full of hydro seeding is full capacity.
Yeah.
What are you in terms of capacity? You think you're like at half? Are you pretty busy? Are you like booked out? Like where are we at now? I know
So
it's like
I'm
basically
probably
new.
half. We've probably done 4 or 5 jobs a week. I can do a job a day, 2 jobs a day, depending on the size. So
Let's say you have a full day job. What's that gonna pull in terms of revenue and then like the cost on that?
we could probably do about an acre a day, I would say. If everything goes right, an acre or 2 even. Typically 14 cents a square foot based on everything I calculated. So it's like $6,000 an acre.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so-
Cool. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
then your
most of
materials-
our jobs are residential new installs, like new construction, so it's not even gonna be close to an acre. An acre job would be nice. Like the more acreage, the better, because then you're on one job site doing the same thing instead of driving all over the place.
Probably 2-3 grand average ticket size then.
Yeah,
Got
I'd
it.
say, or 1,500 even, 1,000 to 1,500 probably right now is what we're doing. And
Got it.
as we grow and stuff like that, it'll probably, as more contractors have more faith in us, I would say, it'll grow from there.
If you're gonna completely change your business model and focus on one area or one service, it's sometimes a good idea to slowly do that. Most of the time, because if you're taking a big business, like he's had in the past with lawn care and landscaping, he has a shop, he has a bunch of equipment. It's a nice way of, over 2 or 3 years, moving the focus of the business to a different niche or to a specific service, instead of doing it really quickly and all of a sudden you have all this overhead and all this equipment that is basically gonna go unused, and it's actually difficult to make the new business profitable, even if it's a better service, even if you enjoy it more. Doing it slowly is sometimes a good idea.
Did you ever think of trying to sell TrueScape?
So I did. I've always heard that when people try to sell that, they didn't get much out of it. It's only worth what the equipment's worth, or, we had 1-year contracts that were ending. So all of my customers I gave to a good friend of mine. He's been giving me a good bit of hydroseed work and really pushing, I think just from a relationship standpoint, it was a good transition of our customers over to him. We had a lot of customers that weren't happy with us last year too. And I think that's kind of why I didn't sell, because I didn't think most of them would stay anyway. Hydroseeding is like completely opposite. Now it's just like I have to get it done and get paid. Like last year, the work was getting done. Maybe it wasn't to the quality that I expected, but money was flowing. I was managing employees, and it was nice. But the constant phone calls about things not being done correctly is what really just killed my spirits and made me decide to kind of switch things up. Just with quality issues, and it was a constant struggle last year, just trying to have those morning meetings of trying to hey, this is what happened, how can we improve? And I'm a very passive person. I don't like confrontation.
Because he used to handle that kind of management side.
Yeah. And I don't want to say he was, hard on guys, but he took it seriously, and he had no problem having that hard conversation where me, it's just all right, I'll have it, and then hopefully it gets better, and then I'm dealing with customers constantly calling and complaining, and it just was an endless cycle last year of me getting frustrated, and just felt like I wasn't respected because I'm not a confrontational kind of person.
Yeah.
That's just my personality too. I'm the type that just doesn't process things, and I just bottle everything up until one day it explodes. And I recognize that that's not a healthy way to deal with things and figure stuff out. So, that's kind of why I reached out to you guys, and that's why I talked to my wife and talked to other people in the industry, just to get another perspective, because I know mine sometimes is clouded.
And so right now, with all the equipment, all the stuff here, if we sell a lot of this stuff, do you think it helps with just cash flow and just getting
I
stuff?
have been.
Okay.
So we had a couple zero turns,
Okay.
some of the handheld stuff. So that's been what's getting me through the end of the winter. We did snow and ice management for a hospital down the road. There's probably 16 or 17 big parking lots.
This past winter?
Yeah.
Got it. Wait, that's the one that owes you $100 grand.
They owed us $85,000. They've paid 60 of it, and they're disputing the other, I think it was 20,000 that they aren't paying.
So that's why you kept the dump truck?
Yeah,
for that.
yep. So we did use that for snow. So we're still dealing with them paying the rest of it. They just sent me certified mail saying that they're agreeing to pay 9,000 of the 20 that they owe me. So I might end up just settling and getting that money and not dealing with them anymore. But with them owing us money, I was planning on using a lot of that, because that invoice was from January, and we actually terminated the contract at the end of January just because they were not a good customer to deal with. We'll put it that way. But they were net 45 to begin with, and then net 45 came around, and it was, then 15 more days and 15 more days, and I would keep bugging them, and that really put me behind on my start to the season because I wanted to have a hydroseed truck ready, I wanted to have stuff sold, and honestly, just mentally, it drained me, and I came up here and just kind of sat around a lot of the end of the winter. I had big plans to get stuff organized and do stuff, and I was just frustrated and didn't have the motivation to do any of it. But I think I'm at a point now where like I can't keep causing damage to everybody around me, like with my wife and daughter. And even after this winter, like with that customer slow paying, like I was late on vendor payments, and like I don't want to do that to people. I've never been the guy to owe people money, and I don't want to be that kind of guy.
One thing to keep in mind when you're dealing with a commercial job like a big apartment complex or a mall, you get a big contract and there's a lot of revenue to be made in these big jobs. But a lot of times these commercial jobs also take a lot longer to pay you. It can take you 30, 60, 90 days to actually collect on payment. This can make for a lot of cash flow problems, and that assumes they actually end up paying you. Because in this case, he might never even see the money that he spent on all the work that he's done on these job sites. So it's not to say that commercial jobs are bad, but keep in mind from a payment perspective, they're usually going to take a lot longer than residential customers.
And why hydroseeding? Was it a matter of like something you knew you could do more solo?
So
what was kind of the
honestly,
idea?
I kind of goes towards. I have a good friend, and he's in Pittsburgh. He owns Pittsburgh Mulching Innovations. His name is Shelby. They have those big blower trucks.
Yep.
I was talking to him a lot, and I saw the opportunity to find a niche, and kind of go with that and simplify things. Because I think a lot of our quality issues came down to training, and we try to do a training, but there's so many different things on the maintenance side that you have to train for that it seemed like hydroseeding is one thing. There's maybe different seed mixes, or it's able to be simplified, and then I can kind of simplify and dig down into the numbers and have everything kind of spot on, where there's just too much unknown for me in maintenance that I wasn't comfortable continuing that, especially with the frustrations that I had. So just talking to him and seeing how he used to do full service, he used to do a lot of installs and stuff like that, and then they bought a blower truck for their own company and ended up blowing up from there and doing that, and he's doing really well for himself. So I thought I could maybe do the similar thing with hydroseeding.
So where can I help the most? Like, is it a matter of driving more leads? Is it organization? Because I feel like a lot of it is you actually have the skills for organization. You just haven't had time.
Yeah.
And you've been trying to like get rid of this other business and like merge everything over.
I just need somebody to run things past and like, what I mean? Like, I'm an impulsive type of guy where it's like, here's a great idea, let's do this, let's quit everything else. And that's kind of what I feel like I did with hydroseeding, and maybe I did it sooner than I should have. Maybe I should have kept some maintenance customers and kind of transitioned more, but I was just so frustrated and done with the maintenance side that, I thought this was an out. And ever since I, had the issues yesterday, I've just been go, discouraged, and like haven't had a chance to even sit down and think about it. There's just too much to do and not enough hours in the day. So I think once I can kind of process everything and work through it and realize and figure out what I actually want, and that'll bring back some excitement. If the business is, what I decide that I'm going to continue with and what I actually want, I think it'll be enough motivation to start cold calling again and getting the leads in.
It's rare to see this type of mentality work well in business, where you kind of have your foot half in, half out of the business. Most of the time, to become really successful, you kind of need to have the approach of like burning the boats and going all in on the business. So if you're not sure whether I should or should not start a business, I recommend not doing it most of the time, because even going full board, a lot of people fail. Doing it halfway, the likelihood of success, very, very small. And a lot of times you get this idea like, oh, I should do this different business or this different service, and you look at a different industry and things look so much easier. But a lot of times it's because you're not in it every day. You're not in the operations. Every business is difficult. If it was easy, there'd just be more competition that would come into that marketplace, drive the price down, and make the industry difficult. That's what a free market does. So try not to get in the trap of where you think about different businesses, different industries, and think that are so much better and more profitable and so much easier than your business that you're currently in.
And like right now, have we contacted like every contractor, every municipality, like, or is there like a lot of opportunities?
I think
still
there's
to go
still
after
opportunities for sure.
But you've probably been holding back because you didn't have the truck.
Right, yeah. And I'm kind of still holding back now that we had such a bad day yesterday. I feel like I still need a week or two to kind of get everything organized and get back into it, but I'm, running out of cash to kind of keep that flowing.
Yep.
So
my thought is like, what actions are we taking when we're not actually producing revenue?
Mm-hmm.
And I think right now it's like, well, I need to get organized and I need to like move stuff around the shop. And like, we find ourselves at the shop just kind of like doing things.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's like if we're not producing revenue, we need to have like a very clear checklist of what's going on. Because if we don't have the money to go out and like spend a bunch of money on ads, which I don't think is a good idea in this industry, because you're just gonna get a lot of residential. You usually get lousy leads, $400 job, $500 job. You're traveling an hour with a big massive rig.
Yeah.
Like it's not gonna work.
Right.
I would just say it's like, okay, here are the 4 things I must do. Contact every contractor, contact municipalities, make sure my website's dialed. If I'm not doing these things, I must be on the truck working. And then just being like, it is binary. It's like, I am either working or I'm doing these things. Because like organization, fixing the truck, all of that will take care of itself when you just get tons of leads.
Yeah.
And I just know that like you are going to figure out the organization part. Like you'll figure out QuickBooks and you'll figure out how to move it all over. Like that's the part you probably thrive in.
Yeah.
But like let's get jobs on the schedule. Because if you had so much work that that truck could not afford to be down, we'd just go hire someone to fix it instead of us dinking around on a week for a week or 2.
Yeah, that's true.
So I would just really encourage like full out production, like go after the jobs, like fire under the butt. Like only thing we're tracking is how many leads, how many jobs we're completing every single day, and we just turn this thing into a sales organization.
Okay. Yeah.
Because the nice thing about hydro seeding is there is less operational drag. It's like there's several types of mixes. Someone drives the truck, you spray the thing. Here's the 4 things that can go wrong on the equipment and how to fix it. Then it is a sales organization that just so happens to sell hydro seeding. Yeah. And I bet your friend is great at sales. Like that's probably like his branding. Because like, blowing mulch, like how can you mess it up? You know, it's relatively simple service, but it's simply who gets the contracts.
Right.
And I know mentally, it's like you just got beat up. Like every single day when you even like walk in here, seeing the branding, seeing all the equipment, it's just like a punch in the gut every time.
Yeah.
And so I understand like that inaction part, but the only way for this hydro seeding thing to work is we treat it like a sales organization. And it is a matter of we are doing jobs or we are using the rule of 100. And every day it's like one or the other.
Yeah.
I'm not fixing equipment, I'm not organizing things, because your admin brain is kicking in. It's like I need to have all these things organized and then I will make money.
Yeah.
If you make money, all this other stuff will take care of itself.
That's true. Yeah, that's definitely, in my head, it's like I need all this organized before I can go do anything, because like seeing the shop the way it is, tools thrown everywhere, just, the aftermath of me fixing everything, it drives me nuts, and I don't want to go out and do a job until the shop's clean and that's just
great news.
counterproductive.
The customer doesn't see this.
Yeah, exactly.
They just see the end result.
True.
So like if we can give them the end result, get money, this stuff we can figure out later, right? Do this during the winter.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like this is go time. That's why I don't want to hear like I'm gonna wait 1.5, 2 weeks to get that fixed.
Yeah.
I want to see like get more jobs, fire under our belly to get that done in a day or 2, because we just pay someone to do it, and then we go out and get the jobs done, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like just having to come in here and work every day and seeing it all, it's just a constant reminder, and you're already starting to doubt yourself.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I called my wife yesterday. I'm like, should I just get a job? We've been together, we were high school sweethearts. We've been together since, it would have been like 2011. She's been with me through it all, through college and starting a business and telling her next year I'll make more money, next year I'll make more money, and me just continuing to reinvest money into the business. And I think part of her would be relieved if I didn't have a business anymore, and I just got a job, but also, she wants me to be happy, and I think she believes in me that I can make it happen. It's just a matter of, it's not an easy thing to do to make it, a successful business and do everything that needs to be done to provide for the family. So she said she would support me either way, and we still have to continue having conversations about it because we have a daughter. So as soon as I got home, it's running here, running there, and getting ready for bed. So we never really finished the conversation. It's still a little open-ended, and kind of open-ended in my head too about what I'm gonna end up doing. I don't think it's a bad idea to get a job and even do hydro seeding part-time until I can make it full-time, just to kind of regroup and emotionally and mentally kind of heal a little bit.
Many times for an entrepreneur or business owner that has owned their own company, it can be almost a form of identity that they're an entrepreneur and that they must be the employer. There's no shame in getting a job and becoming an employee. There's so many skills that can be gained by working for someone else and getting a dependable paycheck. And ultimately, if you need to provide for a family and have a consistent paycheck and you're not getting it from your business, it might be a great opportunity to go get a job and work somewhere else for 2, 3, 5, 10 10 years, get the skills required, and then you could always go out and try again on your own.
You know, it was really difficult because the hose clogged 3 times, then the thing was spewing coolant everywhere, and I just shut everything down and just sat there just like, what am I doing with, you know, the business? And it's always been my dream to run a business, and even you just saying, you know, can we just pay someone to fix it? Like, that was me 2 years ago. You know, we were doing well, everything was thriving. It's just like, this needs to get fixed, send it here to get fixed, and like the money wasn't an issue, and now it's just like a couple bucks to my name, just, you know, for at least for today, and then checking the PO box every day to see if any checks came in the mail, and I hate living like that, and it's not a successful way to run a business for sure.
And what'd she say? Like, is she supportive? Like, what's her thought?
She said, I'll support you with whatever you do. She's been through this all in the long haul with financially with me. Like, she's stepped up a lot of times when I couldn't provide. So I feel like too, like my wife doesn't see me as a provider lately just because it's been, you know, tough financially and it stresses her out, and I don't want that anymore. And I think our relationship would be a lot healthier too if, you know, I'm back to being that provider that can pay the bills, and, you know, she can fit into more of a mom role, because she was working, she still has a casual job as a nurse, so like she only has to put in like, I think 8 hours every 2 weeks. But like she's been working almost full-time hours just to help us out, which is nice that she has that flexibility, but I don't want her to keep having to work full-time hours because then we're paying for daycare and just a lot of factors that go into it. I think she's frustrated with it all, and, you know, we kind of agreed that if I don't make it work this year, then, you know, that's it. Like, I can't keep going with it. So,
how many jobs right now per week are we getting?
Probably 3 to 4.
Could that be done in the evenings and weekends?
Potentially.
Would it be better for the family to get a job right now? And then as the business grows, merge back into full-time?
I've been thinking, yeah.
I'm just thinking about like family and security.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
Because like the entrepreneurial side of me is like, go get 100 jobs tomorrow and just go full out, blast everything. But if we're gonna be caught in inaction or just I get this pain, like maybe from the sense of security, like I'm gonna get the job, I'm gonna do 3 jobs a week. That's gonna be money in my pocket because I gotta pay off $1,300 a month on a loan. I got some other stuff I gotta fix here. If I can just do 1 or 2 jobs a week, I'll probably pay that stuff. The extra 1 job is in my pocket. That's like the safer way to go. Because I just want action.
Yeah, I agree.
Now I see 3 jobs getting done a week.
I'm kind of backed into a corner where I'm evaluating my options and not actually making a decision.
Yeah.
So like, you know, that's been my past week, and you know, last week I was all, you know, when the rentals were working out and I was getting jobs, I was all gung-ho and excited to get this truck up and running, and then like I just feel like I hit a brick wall, and now I'm just kind of even questioning, like I'm kind of in an identity crisis, like am I cut out to be a business owner, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I think I am. I'm not super questioning that, but it's just a matter of getting it done, like you said, taking that action and figuring things out.
Your friend that does the Barks thing, would he ever bring you on for something?
Potentially, yeah. I'm sure he would.
I'm just thinking like an adjacent industry that inspires you to do this whole thing and be able to see how that operation flows, then part-time still do the hydro seeding thing. Because like I saw it just in your body, as soon as I'm like getting another job, like that, like it's just like, oh man, like,
that's what I've been considering lately. You know, I never thought I would be that guy. Like it just kind of hurts my pride to say get a job, but like I need to provide for my family. I need to figure this out. Like went to Penn State and I graduated in 2018. So right after that, I started cutting grass on the side. I've been doing it ever since, and you know, we've had some highs and now we're having some lows. So like it's just a matter of where I see my life going, and that's why I've just been trying to contemplate that lately. And I don't know, the hydro seeding thing's exciting to me, but the more clogs and problems I have, the less and less it becomes exciting to me, and more of just a chore of getting everything done and getting the jobs done that I do have scheduled. And like today, I had that job yesterday, didn't get finished, so I have 2 more jobs today or tomorrow even to figure out, but by the end of the week. So I need to call around and see if I can even find a rental. So it's just, it's stressful, but it's part of being a business owner, I guess. Yeah, I think too, it's crazy with social media. Like it's always the highlight reel, and you never know what anybody else is going through. And I'm sure it's happening a lot more than you'd think. And there's another landscaper in the industry that I recently, probably within the last year, posted a video about struggling with hard times. And a lot of the other landscapers that I'm friends with kind of made fun of that. And obviously in the local industry, it's you want to see your competition, struggle, but it provides more opportunity for your business if other companies are struggling. So like it's always been tough to talk about how I feel with my peers locally, because it's not that I'm a direct competitor of them, but nobody wants to look like the guy that can't manage a business or is really struggling when, you know, they might be too. It's just, not a lot of people are open about it, and I think it's refreshing to hear other people's stories when they are open about it. And, you know, it goes a long way to not feeling alone. I think I'm running out of gas.
Running out?
Yeah, I didn't realize I was that low. So caught up in everything going on, I didn't even check. Stranded on the side of the road, ran out of fuel, but I'm not mad about it. I think the conversation that led me to this point, and the conversation that probably distracted me from looking at the fuel gauge, was more important than actually getting fuel. You know, I felt like I broke through a lot of the stuff that I was dealing with, and honestly leading towards getting a job and just simplifying my life so that I can, you know, provide for my family and create value with my family and memories, and, you know, not be constantly filling my life with just things to keep me busy and things that are going to stress me out. You know, on a typical day, this would stress me out a lot, but I think I kind of feel at peace. It's nice to kind of be okay with it not being okay, I guess.